All right, hello. Welcome back to Ultra Kellen Real Estate. So getting right into it. So Section 8 as opposed to renting with Catholic Charities. So they're both very similar. They both will pay you direct deposit. The rent always comes on time, always on the first of the month. And there really isn't that big of a difference between making an apartment qualify for Section 8 as opposed to qualifying for Catholic Charities. It's pretty much the same thing. Making sure that you're a good landlord, making sure that the water works correctly, and making sure you don't have any broken windows, making sure that all the outlets work correctly, making sure that you're not taking some big closet and trying to claim that as a bedroom. And so just little things like that. But the drawbacks, honestly, I would say I prefer Section 8. Typically, from my experience, I've been doing this since 2010. People who are on Section 8 typically have some type of a family structure. They typically have some type of support with their family when it comes to raising their kids. And typically, it seems like it's easier for them to stay on their feet and to just be a better tenant. Now, Catholic Charities, that's much more of a mixed bag. When it comes to Catholic Charities, you have tenants who could be possibly getting out of an abusive relationship, domestic violence. Maybe you have somebody who's a recovering drug addict. And it just seems like, from my experience, when it comes to Catholic Charities, they have less support from their family. They're kind of just out there on their own. And on top of that, they're typically only paid for 2 years. So after 2 years, they're kicked out of the Catholic Charities program. And hopefully within that 2 years, they figured out how to get on their feet by themselves. And now they have to be able to pay for that apartment that you rented out to them on their own. Versus Section 8, as you may already know, people die on Section 8. And I think in certain situations, when that person may die on Section 8, it actually gets passed down to either a sibling or a child, if I'm not mistaken. But I would definitely say that Catholic Charities, the tenants don't seem as stable, in my opinion, compared to Section 8, where Section 8, the people seem to have much more of a family, a connection with everybody, and they seem to have this, their stuff a little bit more together in life. Because typically, people on Section 8, they are working. Maybe just not a high-paying job, but they are working. Catholic Charities, it's almost like you're reaching into a bag and you're grabbing out, and you really don't know what you're going to get. Whether that person, was in jail, whether that person, is running from an abusive spouse, a substance addiction, or just somebody who just has a hard time in life, just can't get right, can't get out of their own way for whatever reason. So Catholic Charities is a good resource to use for some reason if you can't get a Section 8 tenant. But if I had to choose my pick, I would definitely take Section 8 over Catholic Charities. That's my opinion. All right, so if you're watching the video on YouTube, you can follow me on Instagram and TikTok at Ultra Kellen. And if you're watching on Instagram or TikTok, you can follow me on YouTube at Ultra Kellen Real Estate. All right, guys, till next time.